Today's a special day in the city of Detroit. I am really pleased to introduce a son of Detroit, Chuck Sims, as the Interim Commissioner of the Detroit Fire Department. Chuck, congratulations. This is somebody who's a true Detroit success story. He graduates from Pershing High School in 1986 and goes on to be a Detroit firefighter at 19 years old. And while he's working his way up the department, he gets an undergraduate degree and a master's degree at Wayne State. He'd been a rising star, but when I came in, what struck me was that arson in this city was a crime that almost always went unpunished. Detroit led the country in arsons, and I was shocked to find that not only do we make few arrests, but in many cases, the fire department never went out to the fire to determine the fire's cause. People knew you weren't going to be investigated or arrested. But when Chuck Sims took over the arson squad, he changed that. We started to get out and investigate these cases. We partnered with the Detroit Police Department, a great collaborative unit where the detectives from DPD worked side by side. The arrests increased dramatically, the investigations increased dramatically, and we now have half as many arsons as we did when I started. Part of that is certainly the demolition program. A big part of that is that the Detroit Fire Department and the Detroit Police Department have shown that we can change expectations. And for all the years where children, the week of Halloween, would see nothing but flashing yellow lights in what we called Angels' Nights, and it was a message they had to be worried about homes in their blocks burning, that's been gone the last few years. We've just been doing Halloween in the D like every other city in the country. Chuck Sims went on to be second deputy commissioner, running several divisions, and is just won the respect of everyone. And so we're at the point now where I was looking for a commissioner who really was a career firefighter, who would have the leadership team regularly in the firehouses talking to the men and women and being in touch with what was going on, who would be celebrating the heroism that we see so many times from our firefighters and EMTs, and who could also deal with the stresses with the employee assistance program that firefighters uniquely have to endure. And so as I was looking for the right candidate to do this, I got a chance. We're in a different situation where we were 5 or 6 years ago. There's a whole lot of strong management team in the Detroit Fire Department today. I was really pleased at the management talent that was here. There were a number of strong choices for commissioner. And so I'm going to do this as I always do. We're going to name Chuck Sims as the interim commissioner. We'll do a national search over the next 6 months. We'll compare him against the best candidates that we get from around the country. And I'm very optimistic when this town gets a chance to know him and see how he does in the department, that he's going to have great success. So with that, let me introduce the new commissioner, Chuck Sims.
Thank you, everyone, and good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor Duggan, for your leadership and this unbelievable opportunity to serve as Interim Fire Commissioner for the City of Detroit. I am humbled, I'm grateful, and to be perfectly candid, I'm bursting with excitement inside for 2 reasons. Number one is I love the City of Detroit. I was born and raised on the east side of Detroit, Coney Gardens, by a single mom, went to Detroit Public Schools, graduated from Detroit Pershing High School, go Doughboys. Then I went on to Wayne County Community College, spent a couple years there and transferred to Wayne State University, where I ended up getting my bachelor and my master's degree. Detroit has molded me and been a crucial part of my development. I am Detroit strong. Next, I love and I'm grateful to the Detroit Fire Department. I came on the department when I was 19. Of course, at that age, you think you know everything, but I didn't know anything. I was fortunate enough to fall up under the leadership of Harold Watkins Sr. at Engine 34. He then became the first African-American chief of department. I marveled in awe in his leadership, his direction, his knowledge, and even the way he just carried himself. I just wanted to be like him one day. So I want to thank him publicly. Thank you, Harold Watkins Sr. After that, I left there and I went to Engine 53's quarters, Finkel and Greenfield. I went there because it was known as one of the busiest companies in the city, and I wanted to get more action. I stayed there for 13 years, where I became a union representative, where I represented my men and women in the 4th Battalion, and I also got my emergency medical technician's license there. After that, I wanted to go to the other side. I'd been on the side of fighting fires. I want to go to the side to stop the criminals who are setting these fires. So I applied for arson, ended up going to arson as a lieutenant, went up through the ranks through captain, and was eventually appointed chief of arson, where we saw a 75% increase in arson arrests and a steady decline in arson fires. For the last 6 years, I've had the honor and the privilege to be under the leadership of my predecessor, Eric Jones. With him and his team behind us, we've done some amazing things. We transformed the department, so I want to thank Eric Jones as well. But I'm really excited. I'm moving forward with this team behind me. The men and women on this department is like my second family. They're an exemplary team and dedicated and passionate professionals and first responders. They put their lives on the line every single day with dignity and grace. When I joined the fire department at a young age of 19, I never would have imagined, number one, that I would be in this position, but number two, the adventures, the opportunities, and the blessings that I would receive. I love my fire department family, and I have too many leaders and positive influencers to even name, but I'm grateful to them all. However, I would be remiss if I didn't specifically acknowledge another crucial part in my life that I refer to as my home team. That includes my wife of almost 30 years and my 2 adult sons. They are my heartbeats, my safe haven, and they just make me feel good when I get home. I believe that too much is given, much is required. I understand and I appreciate this opportunity to lead this amazing department. Yesterday, we celebrated the legacy of a great man, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He once shared, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Many in the fire department know my mantra as a leader, and it will always be my mantra, is that what's best for the citizens of Detroit. So I will begin this interim assignment as fire commissioner with the following main objectives. First, we will continue to support the citizens by responding promptly to fires and medical emergencies with care and excellent service. Ultimately, we are here to serve the citizens of Detroit. We have to keep that focus and always strive to achieve that goal throughout the entire department. Every decision, strategy, and policy needs to reflect and complement the community that we serve. Second, these last couple of years have been challenging on everyone due to the uncertainty and negative impact of the pandemic. It has been especially taxing on our first responders who go out there every single day and face the pandemic head on. A key part of leadership involves encouraging and celebrating the contributions of all levels in the department. I want to focus on addressing the morale as well as uplifting and celebrating our first responders. At this time, I just want to take a moment and thank our first responders in the department. I would like to thank the firefighters, the medics, the fire dispatchers, the fire inspectors, the fire investigators, the fire instructors, the community relation coordinators, our logistics department, which makes sure that the firefighters and the medics have all the equipment they need to do their job, our administrative assistants, our HR team, our plan examiners. Thank you all. You and your dedicated contribution to this department and to this city are invaluable. Thank you. Lastly, I want to creatively explore avenues to improve and grow the department. Years ago when I started in the arson unit, I can remember that we had reporters and fire buffs from around the country around the world would come and witness the bravery, the tenacity, and the organization of our department with the assistance and the collaboration of the neighborhoods to help combat the unprecedented number of fires. Thankfully, as arson chief, I was able, with my unit, to aid in eventually eradicating those negative events. But I share Angels Night because the Detroit Fire Department has a national or even international reputation of grit, courage, and bravery. We must capitalize and expand on this notoriety of being a first-rate department that is highly respected by all other fire departments around the world. In closing, it is my privilege to lead this department, which has given so much to me. I would do my best to make the leaders who poured into me proud and to model leadership principles and inspire my fellow members beside me. Most importantly, I want to continue to do what's best for the citizens of Detroit. Thank you. Now we're going to bring up President of DFFA, Tom Gehart.
Good afternoon. First, I'd like to thank Mayor Duggan. When I met with him, I believe it was about a week ago, last week, he said he would quickly and efficiently find someone to take the reins of the fire department, and he did that. So I'd like to say thank you for that. We appreciate it. As I was standing here listening to our new commissioner talk, I said, wow, what a thankful person. He didn't forget one person as he came through the ranks that helped him. Says a ton about this man. I've been able to work with him the last 6 years as I was on this union executive board. He's a leader, and I'm hopeful he's going to keep us going in the right direction. I'm looking forward to working with him, and I can't say enough about his leadership and how thankful he was today for everything. So I congratulate you, Commissioner Sims. Thank you very much.
And with that, we'll take any questions.
Good afternoon. Congratulations. Can you talk to me about the city's ISO rating? How is it measured and where is it now?
There's somebody here who's an expert in the ISO, but the answer is it's a whole lot better, and Detroiters' home insurance rates are down. Who here is the greatest expert in ISO? Derek, come on up.
Can you spell your name for me, please?
Yep, Derek, D-E-R-E-K, then Hillman, H-I-L-L-M-A-N.
All right, go ahead. Thank you.
All right, so we were previously a 4, and now we are 2. So that was the best improvement by any large city in the nation. So and that was a team effort. We had training, we had the water department, operations, communications. Everybody was involved in that.
And is it a yearly rating?
You can request it, or it can be on a 3-year term.
And what does the city currently do? Is it a 3-year term or is it yearly?
We're going to try to do it in the next year.
In the next year? Okay.
We're going to try to get better than a 2.
We're going to try to get better. We're going to do a 1. That's the goal.
Very few cities in America are a 1.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yep.
And then Mayor Duggan, what's decision time frame for you? What are you hoping to, or when are you hoping to decide on a full-time?
You know, we're going to explore this spring the best national candidates out there. We're going to look at how the department is running and make a decision. So I'm not on a fixed time, but I think you saw what happened with Chief White. He came in as an interim. There was a process that took a period of months that evaluated the best people nationally, and it was virtually unanimous that we had the best person here. That's where the way it works out ideally, and I'm going to give Commissioner Sims the same opportunity. So he doesn't have interim powers, he has full powers. He's going to be able to put people in what jobs he wants, give them the assignments they want, and prove that he can keep the direction we've been going, keep it going the same way. And so, but we'll make a decision next 3 to 6 months.
Okay, and just to be clear, this is the top job in the department.
This is the top job in the
All right,
department,
just to be
yes.
clear. Thank you, appreciate it.
Jim, they let you out again.
For someone who had a mild case of COVID a couple of weeks ago, what's COVID doing to the ranks of the fire department and the medics? How thin is that making your resources out on the street?
Well, COVID's had a huge impact the last 60 days. We are currently on a downward trend. We have answered every call. We will continue to answer every call. There has been some effect on ambulance availability, but overall we've weathered the storm. We're hoping that we've reached the peak and that the numbers will quickly come down from here.
Explain what you mean on a downward trend, downward as far as absenteeism.
Correct. They're over the last 2 weeks we've recovered 20% of the workforce that has been off duty.
We're seeing the same thing in both the police department and the fire department. So I would say in the last week or so, the numbers coming back, even with those leaving, and now we have more coming back than are leaving. Whether we have peaked in this state or whether there's another surge coming, we'll know in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But for the last 10 days or so, the trends have been good.
Can you give us some idea of numbers and impact? You know, we've heard some sort of anecdotal information, but how many, can you give us a percentage of fire, police, medics who have been out over the course of the last 60 days, the
Somebody
time
have a
reference
rough
he gave
percentage?
us?
What would you guess? About 16%. So we've been running about the same in the police and fire, and we've covered through overtime, of course, on the fire side. Since we've trained the firefighters as medical first responders, we've had support that we would not have had 4 or 5 years ago. And private ambulance has probably been picking up 1 out of 10 cases. So the service has been good, but the folks here have been having to do a lot to continue to deliver that service.
So 16% fire, what was the number for medics, please? And sir, can you identify yourself for us?
No, that's the overall department. About 16% was the peak.
Do you differentiate medics
No,
and fire?
no, we track them all together. Robert Distelrath, that's R-O-B-E-R-T. D is in Detroit, I-S-T-E-L-R-A-T-H. I'm Second Deputy Fire Commissioner.
Common spelling, thank you. Anybody else?
Any other questions?
Hello. There have been some incidents in the media where the fire department has been under some scrutiny. What are you going to do to restore that trust and faith in the public?
Well, I think we've gone a significant way, but I'm going to let the new commissioner talk about what he's going to do.
So any type of complaint or anything that comes in, we're going to handle it internally and make sure that we answer all the questions that the complainee is having. We will, as far as restoring trust back in the community, I'm going to be out there with my team every day. We're going to, our community relations division, we're going to beef them up, and they're going to be out there at block club meetings, at city council meetings. So we're going to restore the trust. And first of all, I didn't know that people had distrust in the fire department, but if they do, we're going to restore that trust. That's one of our first main goals.
Real quick, Commissioner Sims, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for the time. What's the first thing you really want to tackle? You mentioned in your comments morale, and do you feel the dual role? Is the dual role, is that working right now in your opinion?
The dual role is working. The morale is the biggest part that I want to tackle first, just because, like I said, because of the pandemic, our firefighters and medics and the rest of the department, they've gone through so much. And I think we could have supported them a little bit more. So that's going to be my main goal with me and my team, to get out there and talk to them. In regards to the dual role, yes, that's been going well, and we're going to continue to move forward with that.
Thank you.
You will.
Thank you. Nobody else? I got.
Okay.
Mr.
Usually we only let them have one turn.
Well, I didn't want to get in anybody
you want
else.
this to wrap up?
Mr. Mayor, I just have a couple of questions for you. I'm going to get my money's worth, as you know. Tomorrow morning, Andre Spivey is going to be sentenced in front of a federal judge for his corruption. He pled guilty to conspiracy to commit bribery.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that.
You're a former prosecutor. How much time should he do?
I'm not going to comment on that. What else would you like to talk about?
Why is that?
Because it's not, I am not the prosecutor now, I'm not commenting on it.
He's been one of several cases tied to the towing scandal. What would
I'm
be your
not
message to the
debating
city?
it. I'm not debating it with you, John. I'm just not commenting on it as a court proceeding, and it's going to play itself out tomorrow.
There have been some reforms announced by Police Chief White back in November. What's the status of those and fixing the corruption that's been tied to these towing contracts?
Well, I think we've been really pleased that the Board of Police Commissioners did what we asked them to do, which is divorce themselves entirely from this process. And I think, as you know, there was a practice carried over from the previous administration where the Board of Police Commissioners gave out permits as opposed to competitively bidding the work. And that transition is being made right now, and we have the full support of the Board of Police Commissioners to get out of the business of granting permits, and everybody is going to be competitively selected. I think they're in the bidding process now, and Chief White is in the process of picking an app provider that will allow you, if you walk out and find your car missing, to immediately go on an app, find out who towed it, where it's stored, what the charges are per day, and how to get it, because there's been a lot of abuse in a lot of those areas. But Chief White could take you through the exact details, but it's very much in process. All right? Thank you all very much.